an individual by the name of James Eric Fogelsong at his residence in Maitland. Fogelsong is the chairman of a political action committee known as the Citizens for Safety and Justice. That political action committee was set up, and it was part of the 2018 campaign for sheriff for John Mina. And what has taken place, or what Mr. Fogelsong has done, is that over a course of several months between September and November, he's stole some money from that campaign. And we're at a point where we've got 4 counts of grand theft, and those involve, well, what took place was Mr. Fogelsong took checks that were supposed to be written out to vendors, and he put his wife's name on those checks and deposited those checks into his bank account. So that happened twice. And then in addition to that, there was 2 fraudulent invoices that were submitted to the PAC for digital ad campaigns that were never created or never even took place. So the 2 checks, one was for $450 and another one was for $3,000, and both of those were deposited by him into his checking account. And the 2 invoices, one was for $17,000, or actually the total of them were for $17,000 between the 2 of them, and those were submitted for payment to the Political Action Committee and the treasurer. They paid them and then subsequently found out that the invoices were fraudulent, and then ultimately was reported to us. And so we received this investigation in January of this year, and after 4 months of collecting all the documents and all the paperwork and everything that goes along with it, is this morning culminated in the arrest of Mr. Fogelsong at his residence without incident on that. So that's essentially the scam. It's a very basic theft in the sense. We got 4 counts of grand theft that were stolen from, donations to a political action committee that was set up to assist with John Mina in his campaign for the 2018 sheriff. And I'll open up for any questions.
How were you tipped off to this?
It was reported to us by the treasurer of the Political Action Committee, who was in a position where he saw the fraud and reported it to us. And then once we saw the fraud, we investigated and determined that it was in fact fraud, and that's where we're at today.
Hold on just a second. Nobody was going to tell my guy.
Well, you're flying.
Go ahead.
The checks to his wife, how much were each of those written for?
One was for $450 and one was for $3,000.
And then the invoices, how did that work?
The invoices were submitted. Those invoices, one was for $5,000 and another one was for $12,000.
Do you foresee any other arrests? I mean, obviously the wife's name was put on the checks.
Yeah, it appears that her name was put on it. He was the one that deposited the checks. He was the one that acquired the checks from the treasurer, and he was the one that was responsible for the checks. So, her name is on it, yes, but it does not appear that she is involved in it.
Do you think that Fogelsong was involved in many campaigns, just recently, a gubernatorial campaign? Do you suspect that this could have happened in other campaigns?
It's possible, but if anybody is aware of it, we certainly would welcome that phone call.
You just answered that question, but do you think that there will be any other charges other than that as it relates, as you dive deeper into even these invoices?
From this investigation, yeah, and from what we have right here, we've got 4 counts of grand theft, and that's the charges that we have. From our investigation at this point in time, we do not anticipate any other charges. But if there's other incidents out there and they get reported to us, then that would maybe spark another investigation that may take some time to do those as well.
What was his reaction when you showed up at his house this morning?
I mean, moderately surprised. We've been in communication with him to try to talk to him, and so it wasn't unexpected that we were going to be there. Maybe not expected this morning.
Has he been cooperative when you've tried to talk to him?
Not necessarily, no.
Has he denied the allegations against him?
We didn't get a point where we've had a full conversation with him, but there hasn't been a denial of the allegations. There also hasn't been an acceptance of the allegations. It's just we were in negotiations to have a discussion about it, and it didn't happen.
So he never provided any kind of explanation?
Correct.
At his home, did FDLE agents seize any computer, any kind of like that, as far as evidence, as far as materials to look in to dive deeper?
No, this is from what we have right now is the evidence that we have. We did not involve seizing any additional computers or anything along that lines.
Can you address a little bit why FDLE is handling this, because he had a company in Louisiana that he was part of, right? And then there's Seminole, like it crossed some lines, no?
Yes, I mean, there was a company that he was associated with in Louisiana, which was part of the advertising side of that, which never, the advertising the invoices that were submitted, that never took place. So he did have that company in Louisiana, he was a partner in that company in Louisiana, and then, he's here and he has worked on campaigns. So why FDLE is involved is mainly because we've got individuals citizens that have donated to a political action committee as part of their donations, and then now that money is being misused, and we get the call for that reason, for the misuse of money. And then Fogelsong is responsible for the 4 counts of grand theft from that money, and that's why we're involved.
You said that he was moderately surprised when y'all arrested him this morning, and you may have answered this and I didn't hear it. Did he confess? Did he give you any other explanation, et cetera?
No, he did. At this morning, no.
So he knew why you were there?
Yes.
Do your folks have any idea why? I mean, it's not like he doesn't make money. I mean, why he would feel the need to write that check to?
I don't know, his motives as far as why he would do it, but some of the stuff that we were looking at, there's some financial stuff that they need to look at.
Money trouble?
Huh?
He has money trouble?
I believe so, yeah.
Any idea what these funds were spent on?
No.
I think we'll have an affidavit,
Yeah, there's
if it's in the affidavit, we'll be able to share that with you a little later.
Yeah, from the analysis of the bank account that we looked at is that it's a business bank account, and in addition to that, there is a lot of personal expenses crossed over into the business account. So there is a lot of issues with the spending of his business stuff in general.
What's the next step with the addition of the Attorney General now being involved in this?
He's moving forward with prosecution. He was arrested and booked into the Orange County Jail today on $5,000 bond, and so it will just start the process, the normal arrest process for him in the prosecution phase on the side of it.
Is there any way of knowing that his wife had any information about this? You said her name was on the check, he deposited into his account, he cashed the check, but what implications regarding her could be involved?
I mean, I'm sure she's not happy that her name was on that check, but as far as any indications from the Political Action Committee and from our investigation has not revealed that she is, in a position where we're going to move forward with charging her in anything.
Does it change the investigation at all with the fact that this was a political action committee versus, let's say, someone else who's involved in grand theft?
Of course, grand theft, this is your money of these folks that have donated money for a political campaign, and that money is being misused. So I think we all recognize the importance of, if there is monies involved in a political campaign, that they should be spent wisely and not on just $20,000 in fraud that goes along with it. So.
And once a person is hired, like for my campaign, let's say I'm running for sheriff, does that person have any idea what's going on? I mean, have y'all looked into that as well? The person who's running, or the money just gets to the person, that's it?
Well, we did. We looked into Eric Fogelsong. He was the chairman of the Political Action Committee, and we looked into him when that happened. Yes, that's correct.
I mean, what could be said?
If he has legal representation, and who that might be.
He indicated that this morning that he wanted to talk to his attorney. He said it was Mark Needjame, but we have never received a phone call from him.
What could be said about the treasurer, being the whistleblower on this, noticing the inconsistencies?
Yeah, I think I applaud the individual that, you're in a position, he's in a tough spot where he's obviously identified fraud, and I think that anybody that's in that position, you'd hate to be put in that position where you identify fraud by your partner in this political action committee, and by bringing it forward, I think he's done a service to the citizens and ultimately, helping everybody out with the overall campaign.
Does Sheriff John Mina have anything to do with this?
Not at all.
Okay.
Other than his, the political action committee was set up to assist him in the election, but as far as him as an individual and as the sheriff, has nothing involved with this at all.
My
And not even as-
understanding is, as this kind of started to unravel, and Eric got kind of winded that he was raising money, kind of trying to make things right, is that money in question, or had you already?
We had identified, we go back to, as I say, once you steal money, it's kind of stolen. There isn't much more you can kind of do. There is, ways to mitigate it later on down the road, but, we've got 4 incidents, 2 where he is, cashed checks that were not supposed to be written out to his wife and deposited into his account, and then we've got 2 fraudulent invoices that were fabricated and sent for payment. And so we go back to those 4 incidents.
It was too late.
It's too late. You've already basically stolen your $20,450, and that's it.
As it relates to the other campaigns on the question that he's been so involved in, are you just waiting for someone to come forward, or will that investigation proceed into those other areas where he was in charge of campaigns and there could have been some hanky-panky there as well?
Right. Well, it's, just like anybody, the treasurers and the folks that are involved in the political action committees, they have to sign off on paperwork, certifying that this money has been spent properly. So if they go back and review it and then identify stuff and bring it to us, we'll look forward to it. But as far as going out and going through every campaign that he's worked on, it's ultimately the political action committee that will review it and then bring it to us, and then we will review it.
I'll say one more.
And you said before the 2 invoices that the campaign actually came forward and contacted you guys to inform you that those invoices were fraud?
All 4 of them, the 2 checks as well as the 2 invoices. They identified the 2 checks, then they saw the 2 invoices, brought it to us, and we initiated the investigation in January, and then ultimately led to the arrest of him today.
So was it the PAC or the campaign?
The PAC.
Okay, it was
The
all
PAC.
PAC.
This is all just a point of clarification. It is the political action committee that brought it forward to us. The PAC.
So including the invoices?
Correct. So.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything you want to add?
No, not at all. I'm gonna try to get that the political affidavit, the arrest affidavit to you this afternoon. And you guys know, we're a state agency, so our requests are many as opposed to a local agency that can turn something around in a day. They don't even.
But you like us better.
I'm hoping this afternoon about 1.
Okay, early afternoon.